Have you ever wanted to go to a karaoke? Once you reach there, it wasn't really what you were expecting. Well, don't worry then, because I'm here to bring you this. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my last presentation in ESADA. From design for leisure activities, proposal of a karaoke with private rooms in Granada. Karaoke. I've decided to make this project because here in Granada we don't have these karaoke rooms that originally came from Japan, where people enjoy to sing with their friends in a safe area, and instead we just have these weird, slightly bigger pubs where there are a few microphones in there and people rotate to sing. The main objective for this project was to design the graphic ground of a karaoke with private rooms and develop the business model, as well as design the website for Karaoke Akira and to get different graphic elements to go with the brand. Lastly, we have to offer a different leisure experience in the city of Granada. As I said earlier, in Granada we don't have this perfect karaoke room that we sometimes see in TV shows or in anime. And instead, we have this weird pub with this 80s aesthetic that don't really suit the university people that come here in Granada, which is famous for. Here, for example, in Granada, we have a karaoke pool garage, a karaoke, and karaoke quick that, as you can see, are simply that bigger pubs. Before starting to create the graphic brand for Karaoke Akira, I carried out a research about the different logos that are currently in the sector. At the left part, we can see some of the logos that are mainly composed by the name and don't use any sort of icon to reinforce the logo. And at the right part, we can see those that actually have an icon to reinforce the logo itself. At a quick glance, we can see that there is not a really high graphic level in the sector, and that the colors that are used mostly are black and white, and also this 80s aesthetic, the colors is like different shades of purple. On most of them, we see the word karaoke to resemble what they really are. Well, having all this in mind, we decided to create this brand by using a typographic approach because it will look cleaner for our business, as well as using black and white, the most neutral colors, and a specific shade of red to create a point of interest. Well, having all this in mind, I present to you the final logo for Karaoke Akira. So, what is exactly karaoke? Karaoke provides an unique experience with each visit. Since inside the door, you'll be able to find 6 different rooms to choose from, 6 different private karaoke rooms to choose from. Here we can find two different sections, the cultural experiences group and the thematic experiences group. Here is a breakdown of what you will be able to find inside karaoke. At the cultural experiences group, we can travel around the world to go to places like Japan, New York, or Mexico. While in the thematic experience group, we can enjoy all the luxuries of a VIP room, or to travel back in time to a Victorian era or to the medieval time. Inside each of these rooms, you'll be able to enjoy food from a specific room, as well as your choice of beverage and Here we have the different time schedules that you'll be able to enjoy karaoke piranhas. For example, for each room we have 3 different time slots, as well as a specific schedule to differentiate between those at the cultural experience and those at the thematic experience group. This has been made to create a proper flow of both customers and staff at karaoke. These rooms, these reservations, go for 2 hours and cannot be reduced by any means, but can be extended as far as the next time slot hasn't been reserved yet. The price is a full price. You can't pay anything less, even if you stay less than the 2 hours that the room gives you. To rent a room, you can do it either via phone, by going to karaoke here, or by using the website, which is the next thing we are going to see. So, here we have Karaoke Akira, and if we want to simply make a reservation, we go to the reservation page. We select our day, and when and where do we want the reservation. At first, the page will tell you if you want to log in case you are missing some of the possible promotions that you don't know about, and it tells you to log in. However, you can just skip this by clicking in the continue continue as a guest. Once we confirm that everything is correct, we click yes, and the page will tell you to tell some of your personal data, such as your name or your phone, to carry out this process. Lastly, you'll get a text message to confirm your reservation. Once we've done this, we can go and see what we were missing in the website. For example, we can log in, but if we don't have an account, let's just create one. We enter our data, and now we are in. As we scroll down, we can see the different stuff that Karaoke Akira offers, such as this themed food in each room, the different cocktails and refreshments, and something very important is that no matter in which room you are, you will be able to enjoy any music that you want. This is made like so because here in Granada we don't have that many music experiences in the karaokes. We have mostly Spanish music and some very important English music, but here you will be able to enjoy any type of music like you want. Russian, from Japan, English, etc. As we keep scrolling, we can see the different rooms, as well as a little bit of information for them. Lastly, at the bottom part, we can see something really interesting. At Karaoke Akira, we don't want our clients to try out different rooms and just end their visit there. So we have made a poll section where people can vote which room inside the thematic experiences group should be replaced by another one in the future. In this example, you can choose any of them, and in the month of July, you should be able to see the architect room. As you can see, we can vote. It's okay. So, by voting in this, the user participates in a raffle or giveaway to get to be the first lucky customer to enter this room for free. This website has been designed with responsive design, so let's see a quick video about the mobile version. If you scan the QR codes in the flyers I gave you, you can go to this prototype and see it for yourself. Here we are showing everything that has been made for the responsive design, such as centering everything and making it easier for the smaller screens like mobile devices. Now we see the reservation page that is pretty similar to the one in the web, but as I said, to make it more comfortable to the user. Something that we can do, that we can also do, is to cancel our reservation in case we can make it to the time we schedule. To advertise our brand, we have made an advertising campaign that will be carried out both online and offline. For example, we have the different posters that will be shown in the city of Granada, the flyers, and the business card I just gave you, as well as different posts and stories for Instagram and other social media platforms around the. Lastly, to sum up everything we talked about, we can see the objectives have been fulfilled. We have correctly defined the graphic brand as well as developed the full business model. And we have created this website with a responsive design. Also, as you have, you currently have the different graphic elements with the brand, but we can say our project is really complete because we haven't offered this different leisure experience in the city of Granada. This is because we can say that Karaoke Era is finished until we make this a real business, which is set to hopefully open our doors by the end of 2026. With this, my presentation is over. Thank you so much for your attention, and if you have any questions, I'll be more than glad to answer. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kirill, and I will present you the creation and development of Cuervo Studio, a web design agency that. Okay. Why I did this project? This project started like 2 or 3 years ago when I started to like web design, and I started to search for web agencies or agencies in general, and saw that every agency have a very similar website that looks like it's made from a template. And as well, I saw that all the agencies did their works for quantity and not for quality. That's why I started to look up for other agencies like well known from Europe or America, and got for websites like this from Toyfy from Canada or like Format 3, that they are agencies that have a unique style and make every website seem unique and very personalized. So that's why I created Cuervo, because I saw an opportunity to enter a market where there is small competition in Spain, and would have an opportunity to work with big clients in Spain or internationally. The objectives of the projects are, first of all, creating a brand identity. The second one is creating a user experience that will captivate new clients. The third one is to encourage exploration through interactivity, animations. The fourth one is to create a highly personalized website for our agency and for our project clients. And that all will generate a desire in the user to have a website that unique. Then, before starting the project, we did a CAM on DAF analysis, and we saw that our main problem was that, that our agency was a new agency, and we had to start from zero and compete with big agencies. But we saw an opportunity that we could create something new and unique and start from there. Then we defined our target and saw that our target would be someone like Javier, a CEO from an international hotel boutique that wants a unique image to compete with other normal hotels. And then we made a segment, and we saw that we needed to find clients that wanted a strong online presence, startups that want to compete fastly with other startups that are just starting right now, and with the creative sector. So our mission was to help brands to sell more by creating captivating websites with delightful interactivity. And we make it possible by staying for our craft and looking up for the details. That's why we wanted to focus mainly on web design and development, and more like in the experience side. But we will offer services like content production, branding when it's needed, 3D experiences, web design, web development, and more that we will see later. So now it's time to create the brand. First of all, we picked the name Cuervo. Why Cuervo? Cuervo means crow in Spanish, and it was picked because we wanted to compare it directly with how a crow is. It's an animal that can solve problems very creatively and using tools. So that's why it was perfect for our naming for our studio. We created the logotype from a derivative font from Helvetica, but it has the E and R modified, so we can emphasize on that animation and interaction side of the brand. Then now we will see the brand style guide, but you have the complete brand style guide in the dossier. For the logo variants, we mainly focus on black and white, so that's why the logo always will be on white and black background. Then we created a logo space where it's derivated from the C, the rounded and bigger letter from the naming. The main brand colors would be black, gray, and white, and for accent color we have orange, which will be used for emphasizing some text and images and geometry. Then we pick the brand typography, that would be New Has Grotesque, which is a revival of the Helvetica, and that it's present on Adobe fonts. Then, as you can see, it has a lot of weight, but we only pick to use regular, which will be used combining high text and small weights. As you can see here, this is a demonstration of the use of the typography, where you can see it's used on very big letters and for small text. Later we will see a lot more about the text and the website. Here you can see the business card from the brand, in which you can see that we use the color that I mentioned before, and here you can see the use of geometric shapes that we wanted to use in a staggered way, so it means something like animation. Here is another application of the logo type for our invoice and the usage color. And now we will see more about the website, which is the growth project. Before starting creating the website, we needed to establish a web map, in which we can see that we created 3 main sections, which are projects, studio, and contact. And in projects, you have the 3 main projects. That would be a lot more in the future. Then here you can see as well a map of the footer content. Then we created the user flow, which would be that the user enters in the web, explores the web. If he likes the home, he can directly contact the agency, or he can continue exploring, seeing the project and the studio, and if he likes it later, he will again contact. Here, then we made a low fidelity prototype that it's useful because we don't need to use any typography, any colors, and we can see the layout of the design. But you will see later that the design suffers from a lot of changes because it was needed. Then, before starting designing the web, we used the platform Webflow, which is a no-code CMS, but that you will see later that I used codes as well. So first of all, we started setting the general settings, which are the page name that will appear in Google, the favicon, and some icons that will appear only in iPhone or iPad. Then, before starting designing the whole page, I wanted to emphasize creating the footer and the navigation bar. So for the footer, we used our main words that are "Let's fly together," that represent flying of the crowd, and the liftoff of a brand. As well, you will have always present the contact email of the brand and the navigation buttons. Then I created the navigation of the web, which in desktop you will have always the nav buttons visible, but with an invert style, so it's always legible. And then on mobile phones and other devices, smaller devices, we will have a full page navigation that we will see later, all the interactions and all the animations of the web, but it will appear and it will be full page because the device is so small that users can't click a navigation button that small. Now we will start seeing the home page, in which you can see as we enter, first we will see an animation that we'll see later on the web. But as you can see that when the user enters, he sees a giant text that says crafting tailored experiences that makes reference and wants to make a metaphor where we craft websites and not just design them. That means that we are something like artisans in real life. Then when you scroll down, you will see the work section, in which we will have the 3 main projects. and that will appear and be visible with a video. Then you will see a small text explaining the services. As you can see as well in this page and in other pages that we will see, the brand uses a lot of white space, and it's mainly playing just with rectangles and texts. And then for last, when we get to the end of the home, we will see another mention for the craft and innovation words and an About Us button that will directly then change them to the studio page. But before, we will see the project page, in which you can see that we designed the project page to be like an application from a mobile, and in which this is a slider, and each slider is a project. Then we will see every project when we see it online, but when the user scrolls, it changes the slide and you can see every project. When we enter inside a project, we will see a video of the branding of that client, a little text that explains what that client does, what services he accepted, and a little button to visit the site. Then when we scroll down, you will see a mock-up to see how it looks on different devices and to see the main animations and best points of that web. Then we will see the studio page, which is an About Us. We will see different text always mentioning and reinforcing that message of craft and attention to detail. And as you can see, the text appears to be not non-legible, but that's made for purpose. It's because we want the user to have a trigger and have want to scroll down to read the whole text. Then we will see our vision and our mission, and finally our services, but in a different way, with a more interactive way of seeing it. Now we will see the last page, which is the contact page, in which you can see that it's a full page, it's non-scroll, and that's because everything is present in the page, and you can navigate and contact the agency right here. This message is animated, we will see it later, but it makes a play of words where you can see let's work, let's fly, let's talk, let's everything. And then you have buttons for contact. Okay, now we will see the codes of the page, which is a very important part for my project because, as I told you before, every website I saw internationally, I needed to learn to code just to do those complex animations and those complex interactions and everything. So for that I choose GSAP. GSAP is an animation library that comes from JavaScript, and this animation library makes it not easier, but easier to learn for users to learn to code. They don't need to learn JavaScript, so they can just learn GSAP and make everything they want for animation. As well, in their website, they have documentation and a lot of courses, everything for free, and for learning. As well, this is a strong point because GSAP, it's only 23 kilobytes, which means that it won't slow down the website. So we used 3 different tools for the website, which the first one is GSAP split text, which splits the text in different words or characters and makes it possible to animate the words or characters staggered. That means the animation is not that static and it's more fluid. Then we use GSAP scroll trigger, which makes us easier to animate only when the user scrolls. We will see it later, but in the work section, when the user starts seeing the first project, the project will unveil in some rectangles. By the way, all the codes and that stuff, you can access it on the dossier. And finally, we used Lenny's Smooth Scroll, which is a different library from GSAP, It's a library created by Darkroom, which is a subgroup of another studio in Amsterdam, and they made it free, so every web designer can use it and can make their website to look so smooth and to smooth out every animation. Then we started to work on the SEO. The SEO is very important because it makes our website searchable and better looking for Google, and that makes us easier to find. And Webflow helps us with that because it has a lot of settings for the SEO. For example, creating robot TXTs, indexing, Google Analytics, and those type of things. And as well, you can define a title tag and a meta description for every page, and containing those keywords we need. And finally, we made responsible the whole web for phone devices, iPads, every device you can see, so the web always looks good. Now we will see the web in real interaction. I will sit for this. As you can see, when we enter the web, it has a landing animation, which, as I said before, the brand uses rectangles and those type of geometric shapes to show the branding. As you scroll, you see the work section, in which you can see there is interactions for every project, where you can see the title and the services it got. Then we see our services and those GSAP animation libraries I told you that are in use. And as well, we can see here the buttons are made staggering and following that geometric animation, as I told before, as well the navigation buttons. Now, let's see the project page. As you can see, when you change every page, it has an animation, so it makes this more fluid and animated for every user. Here we can see every project. It's just working with scroll, or the user can drag and play with it. When we enter a project, we can see the video of the branding of that client, a small text, the button on the side, the mockups I told you before, in which you can see the main points of that client. By the way, all these clients I'm showing in this page are real clients, and the websites are live too. Now we will go to the studio page. As you can see, every text is appearing down. This is using the scroll trigger library. Then you can see those animations I told you before. And finally the contact, in which you can see that animation I told you before. Let's continue with the presentation. Now we talk about the business part. For the business, we're using Notion as our main hub for the project, in which this tool gives us the liberty to organize the business as we want. So we divide it in some parts that hub, in which we can see the finances, where we can organize everything about the money. Then we have the codes, in which we will store every code of the clients and our main codes, the internal documents of the studio, and then the clients, which we will talk later. And finally, an inspiration tab. As I told you, in the client section, we will have the main assets that are used for that project, documents, everything related to that project. And as well, we created an organization for every client, in which you can see that the first stage is onboarding that client, contract, deposit, and which goes from 2 weeks. Then the next 3 points are optional because some clients have a good branding, but some other clients will need a rebranding for a good website. So as here you can see, we used a Gantt diagram but redesigned, so it's easier for the clients to see when and where their project is right now. In conclusion, we made a great branded identity because we followed all the main points that a brand needs to have. We made a great user experiences because we used a lot of interactions, animations, and a fluid navigation through the page. We encourage that exploration thanks for that animation. And as you saw before, we already created highly personalized webs for our clients. And if we follow these 4 points, we will generate a desire in the user for have a web. So that's all. Thank you.
Vale. Good morning, I'm Nestor, and I'm going to present to you my final degree project, New Technologies, Leisure and Health, proposal for an app to promote physical activity and exploration through gamification, Explorer. First of all, we're going to see the index of the presentation. First of all, we're going to see the starting point and the state of physical activity and new technologies, which are important to justify how my project is going to solve this problem. After all, we're going to see the state of art and see the solutions that are already presented in the market. Then we're going to see the development and how I'm approaching the solution for these problems. After all, we're going to see the results and how everything has come together. And lastly, we're going to see the conclusions and if the objectives of the project have been fulfilled. So first of all, according to physical activity, there's a study that 27.5% of global population older than 18 years old does not enough physical activity to get a healthy life. This number roughly translates to 1.4 billion people in the world that we consider sedentary. This number is increasingly going up as sedentary behaviors are approaching our lives more and more often. As sedentary behavior, we define it as any activity performed consciously while sitting or laying down, such as watching TV, working on the computer, or driving to work. To confront this, the World Health Organization recommends up to 2 to 3 hours of daily moderate aerobic activity to any adult from 18 to 65 years old. However, there is a problem with this. This is impossible for most adult people since in our lives we have many responsibilities and obligations that does not let us do these 2 to 3 hours of daily physical activity. One way to approach these 2 to 3 hours is if we take in consideration the NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is defined by any energy expenses done by any physical activity done not consciously to do exercise. So any activity not like sports, for example, doing our house chores or walking to work or class, do count in this need. So we can count this to get to these hours. We can link the rising of all sedentary behaviors to the new technologies in our life. Like I mentioned before, watching TV, working on the computer, driving. These are technologies that are now more present in our society and are substituting the other activities that we used to do to get this physical activity. However, not all technologies should be considered negative for our exercise, because there are many types of technologies such as smartwatches or machine training machines, or for example mobile apps that help us create this routine to exercise or help us do sport. In this case, I'm going to center to the health and fitness applications that are any application defined to track our progress. For example, counting our steps, the distance we do daily. Let us set goals to reach these goals. For example, reaching 10,000 steps a day. And in some cases, give us incentives to keep doing exercise. For example, if you do 10 push-ups or you complete your gym routine, you get a prize inside the application. So we may ask ourselves, why use an application or another technology if we can exercise on our own? To answer this question, first we need to ask ourselves if we know the benefits of physical activity, why don't we do it? So to answer these both questions, this study may help us get the solution. 40% of Europeans agree that being physically active does not interest me. I prefer to do other activities in my free time. This may lead us to the answer, because we are not approaching this problem as something from ignorance. We are approaching something from the perspective of motivation, because people may want to do exercise, but they lack the motivation or something that incentivizes them to keep doing that routine. So this activity that first started as I want to do it becomes I have to do it. So people tend to abandon it. Going back to the health and fitness application, I compiled the most prevalent application in this sector and comparing it to different characteristics that are important, such as the view of data, how it tracks progress, and the interest that the application gives the user. First, we have a category that are called the tracking applications. These merely track the user's data and does not give any incentive to the user. As you can see, there are no internal motivations, and there are like these graphic incentives that help the user keep going. On the other hand, we have these applications that are most considered mobile games that use the physical activity to a means to get the rewards inside the games. So these applications may lack the focus on tracking your progress, because it puts it in a secondary position and focus more on the rewards that you get for doing it. In conclusion, we can see that there is a market for this type of applications, that most of them are accessible for the public and are free, and no application focus both on the tracking part and the motivational part. So these are the objectives of my project to fulfill this gap in the market. First, for the main objective, we are going to promote the users to walk and explore the city through the incentives of the application and the other secondary objectives. So the main concept for my mobile app will be decorate your virtual garden through exploring your city. To consider this application to be useful to fulfill this objective, I thought about the toothbrush test. Is it something you will use once or twice a day, and does it make your life better? I consider this the proposal of the project will be fulfill this, because the focus on the application will be to use it once a day and to make your life better by creating a routine of physical activity. The target will be 25 to 45 years old that live in urban cities, which is the demographic that are less likely to do physical activity on their free time because of all the obligations and the rhythm that takes the city, unlike the rural areas where people are more free to explore their surroundings and be able to walk outside, and are looking for incentives they are searching actively for an application that gives them the motivation to keep going and tracking their progress. The main mechanic of the application will be a map that is hidden, and the user exploring the real life surrounding will be showing the map slowly. Second mechanic will be that each time the user passes through a zone, the zone will get more plants, like a garden that is constructing in the mobile. However, the only way to progress in the map is by having an objective. Each day, the user receives a daily objective that lets them complete this map. About the brand, Explora, it's the fusion of words Explora and Flora, and it tries to resume the main idea of the project in a simple word that is to pronunciate, is to understand, and visually appealing. Here's the icon of the application, which will be shown in the App Store and on your mobile devices. And now we will see the application, a brief tour about how the process would go. First of all, the user is presented with this screen once it's installed in your mobile phone, where the user can sign up and log in. For the example, we will sign up. First, the user will create the account, introducing an email address, a personal information that will take in consideration according how it gives you your different goals. For example, an athletic person will receive goals according to their physique, as a sedentary person that is just starting. You are able to link any devices. For example, if you want to track your steps but you don't have your phone, you may link it to your smartwatch. And lastly, as a secondary type of goal, we have a long-term goal that the user can choose to progress in a second perspective. The user can choose to, for example, walking from Granada to the city to, for example, Paris. But there are other types of objectives. For example, the user can choose to climb a mountain, so it takes you the distance needed to climb that mountain. Or you can take different paths from novels or films. For example, you could take the distance needed for the characters of the Lord of the Rings to do your entire path. Once you have finished, the user is shown a brief slideshow of the main mechanics of application to explore your city, to earn rewards that I will show you later, and to create your personal garden that you can personalize. Once the user is registered, it's found with this screen, where it shows the position, the map that he has not discovered, and interesting objects shown inside. The other type of objects are these objects used by regular users that when they complete a series of tiles, they get to put their own map on the map. And there are other places, like for example, important monuments or any building in the city that are shown with the monuments. When the user opens the app for the first time in the application, they receive this pop-up. That is the objective that they are given. In this case, to work for 60 minutes. The user can start it right away, or they can change it for another one. When the user starts it, they get this little thing here, which they can, when they drag left, they get to this screen where they show the journey they are doing right now, the time left, and if they want to pause it, you can pause it. So you can only discover the map where you're the objective. The users may want to stop the objective when they are going through a zone they are not interested to discover it. Once the user finishes the objective, they are presented with the summary of our done. This showing them the map of the objective and different information, as well as the rewards done. The user gets points that are shown in a local RAM that we simulated, in-game currency to buy different objects to decorate your rally, and objects to decorate your rally. When we go to the menu of the application, we can click and open it and get these different icons. First of all, we have the profile where you can see your own information of your physique put, how you are doing on your long-term goal. You also are getting different rewards, your total progress of the map that you have discovered, and your statistics about the steps done a week and other stats. In the ranking, each season the ranking updates and gets everyone to 0. So at the end of each season, the first 3 users get rewards for you. In the shop, the user can use the currency they have gotten to buy different items to decorate their garden. In this case, the summer season, so they get summer chairs, flowers that are from this season. Other items they can get are bonuses that they can get to get other objectives, more items. These objectives don't affect the local ranking, so the social aspect of the application is not tied to a pay-to-win system. And lastly, since the application will be free, one way to get income will be through being able to buy real money in game currency. So you are not limited to the items that you can only get. Lastly, in the inventory, you are shown all the items you have, and if you want to use them, you are shown with a little area where you can drag the object in the screen and you can put it in this area. Lastly, about the advertising campaign of the application, each city will have a personalized advertising campaign shown through movies and posters in the street, showing different streets that are not so well known for the people in the city or that know the city. For example, we are not going to use the Alhambra in this case. They are using the slogan "Te suena" or "Sounds familiar," so it gets the people that are seeing interested to see where are these places, and they get them to explore their own city to discover them. Lastly, going back to our main objectives, we believe they all have been fulfilled one way or another. So we get a complete project, complete project. However, this project is open for anyone who is interested in this theme and wants to expand, revision, or redesign this idea. And here finishes my presentation. Thank you so much, and now I'm open for any questions.